What a Monday. It's like, that's how my Monday went, guys. Between working and dealing with stupid customers all day at work and trying to keep alive tabs on what's going on at E3 and then having to watch Raw in the evening after work, it was just. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about the press conferences yesterday. The Ubisoft press conference was. I'm going to talk about Ubisoft first, and then we'll get into the big two. Fucking hell, man. The Ubisoft conference might as well have been happy hour at E3. Because you had women on stage cursing and saying everything but the C word. And you had Trey Parker and Matt Stone saying, I don't like the fucking microphones. I feel like douchebags with the fucking microphones. But the good news is we're getting a new South Park video game. And the boys have gone from playing RPG and Dungeons and Dragons to playing superheroes. And you got, the Cartman as the little raccoon superhero, and his pack of friends are coming through. And it looks like Butters is going to be the bad guy this time around. But I don't know. They haven't said whether or not this is going to be a role-playing game, because you could still do RPGs with superheroes. So, is it going to be like an RPG? Is it going to be a platformer? Is it going to be a mixture of the two? You're still playing as the new kid, aka douchebag. So, I forget what the name of this game was called. Let me find out, because it has a funny name to it. I forget. Give me one moment here. I should have done this beforehand. You know me, guys. I don't really prep anything here. The Fractured Butthole. It's The Fractured Butthole. Is what this game is called. But it's Butwhole. So it's The Fractured, but we're whole. So, and this game is going to be awesome. Let me see here. The Yahoo Finance has a bit about it. It says, today at E3, South Park Digital Studios and Ubisoft announced South Park, The Fractured Butthole, a sequel to 2014 award-winning South Park The Stick of Truth, is currently in development. The players will once again assume the role of the new kid and join South Park favorites Stan, Kyle, Kenny, and Cartman in a hilarious new adventure. Developed by Ubisoft San Francisco, South Park: The Fractured Butthole will enable players to dive into the crime-ridden underbelly of South Park with Coon and friends. This dedicated group of crime fighters, formed by Eric Cartman, whose super alter ego, the Coon, is half man, half raccoon. As the new kid, you players will join Mysterian, Toolshed, Human Kyle, Mosquito, Mintberry Crunch, and a host of others. Oh man. Oh man, this sounds awesome. The Fractured Butthole will be available for Xbox One and PlayStation 4 systems, as well as PC. I am so happy about this, because if it was anything, I just bought the Stick of Truth on Steam Summer Sale, so that I loved that game. The RPG elements, the turn-based style combat, which I'm a big fan of turn-based style. We'll get to that in a minute when we talk about Sony and what they had for us, but when I don't like the active time battle, waiting for your meter to fill up. What lured me in about Final Fantasy X so much was the combat system. And they had the meter on the side of the screen that showed you, hey, this person's turn is here, then this person's turn's here, and then the enemies get a shot here, and then you get this. And then if you cast a haste spell, if you go to cast haste, which speeds up your turn, the meter changed. It's going, okay, if you used haste, your turn is here, here, and then down here and here. If you don't use it, it goes back to the old way. If you use magic, it affects your turn. I love that style. Granted, you didn't go into that depth with Stick of Truth, but you had that turn-based style. You knew whose turn was coming next. They got a turn, then you got a turn. And it was a way of knowing what's to come and you can plan strategy, because that, to me, role playing games are all about are just as much about strategy as they are, getting into the golly, why is this patch right here so thick? I don't get that. Look at this. Looks like I got like an entirely different group of hair growing right here. I don't, anyway. uh, um Sorry, I literally just woke up a half an hour ago. Ugh. This is brought to you by Diabetes in a Can. Anyway. Um so yeah, that Ubisoft killed it yesterday. E3 overall, it's hard to pick. IGN yesterday, I was following IGN's coverage because yeah, whatever. They were the only ones really doing. I mean, there were a couple other websites out there, but when it comes to GameSpot over IGN, they're pretty much the same. So I sat there and watched IGN's on YouTube while I while I worked. I had it on one screen muted, and I was taking calls with the other two screens. So I'll get more into that when we get to Sony. Um, but it seemed like all day long, IGN was like, well, what does this group have to do to win E3? We're going to win E3. I don't think there was a clear-cut winner. Because for everything Sony had that was so good, Microsoft had something that was good. And I'm not an Xbox fan, but Microsoft had its tidbits in there, two in particular. Um, Sony had quite a few things that I'm excited about, obviously. Ubisoft, EA, you got some work to do. I don't like that little subscription service thing you got going on. Sorry. But Ubisoft, everybody else just killed it. Everybody. Bethesda even killed it on Sunday. Um, and we got Nintendo. I think Nintendo starts up. Let me see when Nintendo starts up here. Let me see when Nintendo starts up tonight. Or this morning. I think Nintendo starts off at noon. Hold on. I'm trying to get a schedule here. Hold on. So, let me see here. Press conferences. Here we go. Come on. See, they use Twitch to stream. And if you go download the game today, I'm trying to promote. Come on. Don't tell me I gotta go to the YouTube channel. But anyway, they really have done a good job. I think you got Nintendo and one other presser today. Give me one moment here. I'm just trying to figure out where I went. But I'll get to that in a second, guys. I'm sorry for so much of the dead air here. I should have been more prepared, but then again, I just decided to do this when I woke up because it wanted it to be fresh in my mind here. Okay, e3.nintendo.com. That makes sense. Their digital event is at 9 a.m. Pacific, which is noon today. And then they're doing Nintendo tree houses, new content approaching for Smash Brothers, and they have the Nintendo World Championships, which who cares about that? So anyway, we're gonna get to see what's his name, Reggie. Reggie is gonna be there, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, they're gonna stream that on e3.nintendo.com. It says come back for the digital event starting at 9 a.m. Pacific on Tuesday, June 16th. And they're doing that on Twitch apparently as well. But anyway, let's get into the meat of it. Microsoft was up to bat first. They lead it off. Well, Bethesda led off first, but it was basically the Fallout 4 show. So we'll and a little bit of old Elder Scrolls, I think, thrown in there or something. But anyway, I never played a Fallout game before, but I saw the trailer for Fallout 4, and it's just like, that looks interesting. Still a first-person shooter. Not really a big fan of those, but I might give it a shot. I gotta realize this is the gaming world that we live in. Everything's fucking first person, and then it's gonna become you're the person with virtual reality. So I might as well get in there and try my hand at them. Even though I suck at first person shooter games, can't stand them. I don't like the whole thought of looking around with one stick and moving with the other, and it's not for me. I'm old school. We had a goddamn D-pad. We didn't have joysticks. That's what grandpas used back in our day, was the joystick, or analog stick as they're called now. But anyway, Xbox backwards compatibility. They've announced backwards compatibility, and my friend Brad and I were talking about this on Facebook last night. It is a double-edged sword because it basically, you're telling everybody, let's face it, what did you do when you bought an Xbox One? You probably went to your GameStop and traded in your 360 to get some credit toward the Xbox One. You also knew that it wasn't backwards compatible, so you traded in all your games as well. Well, now here it is 2 years later, and they've, announced backwards compatibility, and everybody who traded in their stuff is shooting themselves in the foot and is giving you the finger. So, but then again, it's going to cost extra sales for people like GameStop and Microsoft and everything, because all those Xbox 360 games are still going to get, sold. They're not going to wind up in a landfill somewhere. So it's a good thing, but then again, not a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people are going to go to it. Everybody was like, well, Microsoft or Sony has backwards compatibility with PlayStation Now. To me, that's not backwards compatibility. I shouldn't have to stream. That's streaming games. I don't like the idea of streaming a game. If I want to buy a game, why can't you have something like a virtual console where I could go buy the game and download it to my PlayStation and play it anytime I want without an internet connection? That's not backwards compatibility. So, Xbox has said pretty much is right now I think they got 10 games up online, which are shitty games that you could go on there and stream or download. And then if you have an Xbox 360 disc, they're going to release an update for the Xbox One that will let you play your discs. You put your disc in, the Xbox One downloads the game from the disc, and you're off to the races. I kind of wish Sony would do this because there are a lot of games on PS3 that I really like the Batman Arkham games. Arkham Asylum, I'm doing a playthrough of that on my channel, which part 4 should be up probably this weekend. I've gotten a couple of other games, so therefore that's kind of like sidetracked me, because StarCraft is really, really, really impressing me right now, which I know that game is old as hell, but it's still good. StarCraft 2. And then I also got Stick of Truth that I want to do a Let's Play of. So, yeah, the backwards compatibility bit, if I didn't, if I'd have known this was going to go on, I wouldn't have sold my PlayStation 3. Probably, or at least not the games for it, because there are so many PlayStation 3 games that I love. Now, granted, with games like Grand Theft Auto 5, they went ahead and ported them over to the PlayStation 4 anyway, so you ain't really got to worry about that. I've since sold my copy of Grand Theft Auto 5, because once you beat the game, the online mode is so stale at this point that it's like, whatever. The virtual reality with Minecraft, I like it. It looked good. But to me, this has Connect Junior written, or Connect, Senior written all over it, This is like the ugly stepchild of Connect, as it were. And a lot of people are going, well, this thing looked cool, but Connect looked cool too when it was Project Natal 3 years ago. And when they 4 years ago when they debuted it at E3, you had the woman there with the Kinect, and she was hitting the balls and all this, and it looked really cool, and everybody was impressed. And then it came out, and it just went down the toilet. It never worked. The thing is just, it just doesn't work, and it's made for little kids. Little kids don't even like it though. So the virtual reality thing, it'll be fine if it works. The whole taking the game from the wall to the tabletop and rising up, to me in Minecraft, this just shows you right here that Xbox is saying fuck you to anybody who wants to play Minecraft on a PlayStation. Get your copy while you can, folks. If you're a PlayStation fan and you like Minecraft, get your copy while you can, because it's going to be an Xbox and PC exclusive. Um, and be happy with the game that you have, because I don't think they're going to release any more updates for PS4. If we see Minecraft released for the PlayStation 4 at all coming up here, if they continue to pump out copies of it, that would very, very much surprise me. And I think it would be the first time ever that you see I mean, I know you see it nowadays with Sega, but Sega's not in the console wars anymore. It would be the very first time that you see one side putting out a game for another. Um, I don't think it'll happen. I think Minecraft's pretty much become Microsoft exclusive now, which is sad because there's so many people around the world that love that game. But the guy who invented it, he's sitting at his nice little palace in Switzerland, laughing at all of us. So, overall, Xbox's, it was pretty much the Tom Clancy show. Again, E3, it seemed like every year, Ubisoft, it's like, okay, we got to release Assassin's Creed and 15 Tom Clancy games. So, that's Ubisoft's business model, And, you got Bethesda's like, okay, we got to release one Fallout every 3 years and 15 Elder Scrolls games. So, but their business model with Xbox, their business model is changing, and it's being forced to change on the fly, because when Xbox came out, they got hammered at E3 the year that they were released. They got hammered by PlayStation in a big way. If you remember, 3 years ago, everybody was shitting on them because of the fact that, hey, you're going to have to be online, you're going to have to check in every 24 hours, or else your data's going to be lost and your game will be locked out, and you have to have internet connection. And hey, if you don't have internet, we got a good console for you in the Xbox 360 that does not require you to be online, so you could just deal with that, motherfuckers. That was their business model, and they didn't care. Until Sony, that same year, fired right back across their bow and said, hey, you ain't got to be online to play our stuff. This thing will play used games. Games will be on disc as well as digital. So fuck you, Microsoft, is pretty much what they said. And suck it, So that forced Microsoft to change their business model on the fly, because they realized, oh, damn, we fucked up. This is not what they want. They're not going to buy our crap if we do things this way. So they're having to change on the fly. And they're having to make that console more user-friendly on the fly. And it's working for them. I'm not a fan of it. I wasn't a fan of the original Xbox back in the day. I'm PlayStation till I die, pretty much, or until it dies. Or until they do something that radically gives us a fuck you, and then I'll probably, jump ship over to something else. I don't own them, but my stepson owns an Xbox One. I own a Wii U and a PlayStation 4. So I got all three in the house. So far, my PlayStation 4 gets more usage than anything else. My kid really loves the Wii U. He loves the Mario. He loves Mario Kart. Like I said in another video, we played Splatoon last weekend and Smash Brothers, and he was really into Smash Brothers. The fact that he could sit there and pick all these different characters and play them was really good. The Wii was really ahead of its time, because you could play regular Wii games on the Wii U. They basically took the Wii software, the Wii console, and put it into the Wii U. It's really well done. So yeah, that was Microsoft. Going on to PlayStation now. Wow. Oh, man. I'm going to start off with PlayStation Vue. I'm really excited for PlayStation Vue, and I'm going to check these off here as I talk about them so I don't backtrack. PlayStation, yeah, I made notes, actually. I did make notes about Xbox and PlayStation. PlayStation Vue, I'm kind of excited about this, and I hope that this patch right here really bothers me. Yeah. Nah. Anyway. This is why I don't like keeping a beard. But anyway, PlayStation Vue is really exciting me because of the fact that I like the a la carte thing. I like the idea of being able to buy... I like the idea of being able to buy channels that I want. I don't need I don't need the home shopping channel. I don't need the Discovery Channel. I don't need 15 versions of the History Channel. I don't want the infomercial channel or this channel. There's only about 5 channels that I watch. I watch my HBOs and my Stars because we get that for free with our package here from Comcast. I watch USA, Destination America, Access TV, pretty much, and let's see, USA. So that any channel that wrestling comes on, that's all I watch. That's it. So maybe your local channels every now and then, but I like the idea of being able to pick and choose what channels I purchase instead of purchasing a package for $30 a month full of 80 channels that I'm not going to maybe watch but 5 of. I like that idea. And they did show Destination America on there. They showed USA and Destination America. That's pretty much all you need to watch wrestling nowadays. Maybe El Rey, if you watch Lucha Underground, which I haven't watched an episode of Lucha Underground in ages. I need to catch up. A lot of people say it's really good. But that's pretty much it. So, and what this does is it gives, maybe we'll see Twitch get in on this, saying, hey, if you want to subscribe to XYZ user on PlayStation View, chuck us $4. And we'll let you be a part of that. We'll create a channel that with your subscriptions on it. I could see them doing something like this. Now here's the rub though. Is PlayStation going to make you pay for a subscription to their service on top of buying the a la carte channels? Because if that's the case, you might as well stick with fucking cable. Because if you're going to have to pay PlayStation on top of each a la carte channel, like saying, okay, our service is $30 a month, which right now, PlayStation View is fucking expensive. They need to come down on the price if they're going to release this nationwide. Right now, it's in New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Just launched last night. But if PlayStation says, okay, you chuck us $30, and for every a la carte channel you buy is $5 additional. That's $40 they're making. You could go buy satellite and get the same amount of channels, if not more channels, which you're not going to watch, for $40 a month. So, I don't, and people got to remember, you got to pay internet too. So, I don't see where this is going to, especially with Comcast, because Comcast, they have the whole triple play bundle. So it's actually cheaper if you go buy, your internet would run you $40 a month, but they're going to tell you, hey, well, for $60 a month, you could go and buy, you can get internet and phone, or you can get TV and phone service. So they're going to have to make this dirt freaking cheap if they want to make this, viable to consumers nowadays. Because you still got to be plugged in. And if you have an internet provider like Comcast who charges you more for only having one of their services, then you're screwed, because right now I'm locked into a 2-year contract with Comcast. I have to, be with them for another year, I think. So who knows, maybe this PlayStation View thing, it's going to take a while to get clearance in all 50 states, especially in some podunk place like Virginia. And it looks like they're doing it by city and not by state. So, in order for us to do it, they would have to do, clear, in my area, they'd probably have to clear Greensboro and Roanoke, because I get channels from both areas. My local channels come out of Roanoke and Lynchburg, but my PBS channels, my local PBS affiliate, which, yes, I do watch PBS sometimes, I do have a 5-year-old who likes Sesame Street, those come out of North Carolina, out of Greensboro. So, it's kind of interesting, who... They need to do it by state. I'll just say that. Because it's all good if you live in LA and San Francisco, but what if you live down in like Coachella, California, or somewhere like that, or Sacramento, somewhere who has its own TV channel, local TV channels or something? How does that work? I mean, if I live in Philly if I live in Pittsburgh, but I find out that if I can move 4 hours away and get this thing. I know nobody's going to move 4 hours just to get PlayStation View. Well, there may be some. But anyway, enough about that. Project Morpheus is their reaction to the virtual reality. One more thing about the virtual reality from Microsoft that I forgot. When he took up the Microsoft or Minecraft set and lifted it up so you could see what's underneath, you had a lot of people. A lot of people against that because, yes, it's cheating. To me, it's cheating. Now, people are going to say, well, Joe, if they make it part of the game, if the people who make the game, who's now Microsoft, if they want it that way, it's not cheating. And duh. Yes, it is. The whole point of Minecraft, to me, was always, you mine. You don't know what's going to be underneath you or beside you or everything. So if you lift the world up and just say, okay, there's the diamonds, let me just warp there. No. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. On the Sony side, you got Project Morpheus. I don't know too much about Morpheus. People got to realize, man, these things right now are going to be expensive. They're going to be like $500, $600 when they come out. And I know that's the way of the future, that virtual reality is the next big thing. And I like virtual reality. In fact, I've been wanting a VR thing since I was a kid. And, we thought we were going to have the flying car by now too, granted. But anyway. Project Morpheus, they really didn't say too much about it. I know people have played it and have liked it. But well, it's one of those things where we'll wait and see if it's going to work or not. I just hope it's not like the Kinect. I really do. I hope it's a peripheral that actually works and does what it's supposed to do. And I hope they do their research on it and that they spend time with it and that they get rid of the bugs and that by day one you're not seeing a 500 gigabyte patch that eats up your hard drive for this thing. I've got to briefly mention a couple things here. Call of Duty now seems like it's on Team PlayStation side. I'm not real big on Call of Duty, whatever. Shenmue 3 is coming out for the PlayStation, and it's coming out. I have a lot to say about this one. It's going to get made, but last night was the launch of the Kickstarter. Matt Hardy's probably shitting himself right now, because it's like, okay, if you want this game to get made, basically what Sony is telling you, and the makers of this game are telling you, is that, okay, guys, this originally launched for the Xbox, or the Dreamcast, and when Dreamcast folded, it went over to the Xbox for the sequel. Did very well. You've been clamoring for about 10 years now for Shenmue 3. You want to see what's I've never played a Shenmue game, but I kind of get the idea of what it is and what it was. So if you want Shenmue 3 to get made, you're going to have to pay for it. We're not footing the development cost for this. I think it's $2 million is what they need to reach, which granted the game's going to cost more than $2 million to make. But they launched a formal Kickstarter. No. Sorry, I agree with what somebody from IGN said about this. It's like, you had the guys who made Mega Man and Castlevania respectively launched a Kickstarter and had their games funded as a way to say fuck you to Capcom and Nintendo or Konami. Because they were like, well, if you don't want to make any more Castlevania games and if you don't want us to make any more Mega Man games, we'll go out there and make cheap dollar store knockoffs of them like Mighty Number 9 and Bloodstained or Bloodlines, whatever it is. And we'll go out there and make it ourselves, and the people will fund it because you'll see that's what they want. And it's worked. Again, cheap dollar store knockoffs. This is not like Mighty Number 9 is not a major title. Shenmue 3, you had two prequels before it, or two sequels before it that did really good. So if Sony wanted to make the game, they could foot the bill for it. But no, they're saying fuck you to the fans with this one and saying, hey, if you want this game that bad, you're going to have to show us that you want it that bad by, putting up some scratch for it up front. Is it smart of them to do this? Kind of. Because they know that they could get the money off of it, first of all. They've seen how well Mighty Number 9 and Bloodlines have done. So they're like, well, the fans, if they want the shit bad enough, we don't really want to make the game. So let's put it out there to the fans. And if the fans want this bad enough, they'll pony up the dough for it. It is what it is. It's the world we live in. The Last Guardian is finally coming out, which I agree with what Boogie2988 said. It seems like everything from Fallout 4 to that Recore game, everything had some form of a dog in it. And the dog in The Last Guardian, the bird dog, as everybody at IGN was referring him to, bird dog took best in show. If there was a dog show at E3, bird dog from Last Guardian takes best in show. And if people don't know what I'm talking about, go look up The Last Guardian on YouTube and watch the trailer from yesterday. This dog takes up about half the screen when you look at him. And picture a Chihuahua head with a long like dachshund-like body, short bird-looking legs, like big bird legs, literally big bird legs. Take four big bird legs, put them on a Chihuahua, cover the Chihuahua in feathers, put little horns on his head and give him green eyes, and then give him a long like a weasel-like tail, like a raccoon tail, like a possum tail. It looked badass. What I didn't like about it is that this is made, I think, by the same people who made Shadow of the Colossus. So everything's huge, everything's big and detailed. The game looks beautiful. I don't like the main character of the game. And I know it's probably going to improve. People got to understand, Last Guardian is a game that's been in developmental hell for almost 6-7 years, I think it is. I could be wrong about that time frame, but it seems like it's been forever. Anyway, so the little kid is sitting there going, hey, yeah, just yelling out this stupid language and just trying to get the dog's attention, and the dog's half the time is looking around going, what the fuck are you doing? And there's no enemies in this game either. It's you and the dog trying to traverse this world and get to something. That could change. I mean, what's a game without enemies, But The Last Guardian, it looks beautiful. They say 2016. I'll believe it when I see it. Shadow of the Colossus was an amazing game, so hopefully this will be too. Bird Dog takes best in show. I want to see more Bird Dog. Hell, make a game about Bird Dog and we'd be happy. No Man's Sky got a little bit more gameplay this year, and this is another game where it's more or less the makers doing this, showing you, hey, we can make a huge, gigantic world. And I agree with what Boogie2988 said about this, in that when you make a game that large, it gets repetitive and boring very quickly. And another thing, I'll believe it when I see it. If the game is that big, I'll believe it when I see it. How much of that game is going to be DLC? Because I guarantee you, once the major developers and Sony get in there and start doing it, they're going to be like, mighty big world you have here. Imagine if we take half of it, chop it up, and put it into DLC for $10 a galaxy. We'll make millions. And then the game just goes. It's the same thing with all these Tom Clancy and Call of Duty games. They didn't mention much DLC at E3. They mentioned pre-orders. They want you to fucking pre-order. Golly, in the South Park game, fucking Butters at the end of it. Yeah, pre-order. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, I can't do Butters. But anyway, they push them pre-orders like a motherfucker. Fans who pre-order this will get this beta, and fans who pre-order this game will get this beta, and fans who pre-order this game gets the free map packs in this beta. It was pre-order beta week, or day, I should say. So No Man's Sky, I'll believe it when I see it. It looks good. The game looked beautiful. I like the idea of being able to, get in your spaceship and go to different galaxies and different worlds. And hey, if we get to the galaxy and discover two factions are fighting against each other, you can pick and choose. Let's see here. Uncharted 4 was the finale there. The fact that they forgot to pair a controller with the PlayStation, so they had to reboot the demo, was funny as hell. But at the same time, it showed you that everything that you were seeing was on console and not some jumped up graphical, looking trailer. I like that. It showed you that what you're seeing here at E3 is what we're developing now, and is potentially what you're going to see when this game comes out. Now, I know we've seen gameplay demos like this before that by the time the game comes out, it looks nothing like what they played at E3. So I'm kind of cautious about it. The amount of people that you walk around and the amount of moving parts in this scene in this video game is good. Sully, I'm glad to see, Sully and Drake back interacting with each other, like the part in the trailer or in the demo where they have to drive around the construction site, like up the dirt, and the two guys are sitting there, the two construction workers are off to the side of the car like, hey, and Sully just sticks his head out this is how detailed it is. Sully sticks his head out the truck and looks back and goes, sorry guys, we'll be out of here in a second. That sort of thing. In most games, you would just hear the sound effect and Sully would just be sitting there in the car like, duh. But no, Sully's moving around, hey, thank you. And Drake is sitting there, maneuvering the wheel and trying to get around or everything. It was awesome. I'm a big fan of the Uncharted games. Can't wait to play this one. I hope they take their time with it. But the granddaddy of them all for me was the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Seeing it like this, and I showed my girlfriend last night. I was on the phone with a customer, and I look over, and IGN's pre-show kind of alluded to this. No, I'm not crying. I just got a runny nose. Anyway, they said it was coming, so I kind of knew it was there. There was rumors about it. So when they showed that video, and you see, I think, what's the town? Midgar for the first time? Midgar? I don't know. I never got how to pronounce it. But when you see that town, that main town for the first time, and you see everybody getting off the subway, and you see everybody, the big reactor that you have to blow up and all that, it brought back my childhood. And I showed my girlfriend the commercial on YouTube for Final Fantasy VII for the original PlayStation. And I was like, look at that. And here we are, almost 20 years later, and look at this. It's goddamn beautiful. I mean, I was on the phone with a customer while this was going on, so I'm typing up the customer's notes here, and I think I had them on hold. No, I didn't have them on hold, because what happened was they released it, and you saw the logo for the Final Fantasy VII, which is like the meteor hitting the Earth, and I had to hold back a fanboy squeal so hard. It was so hard to do it. And it was just awesome. I can't wait for this. I hope they change the battle system a little bit. I'm not a big fan of active time, so maybe if they make this turn-based, it'd be a little bit better. The materia system, though, they got to leave that in there, because I like the materia system and I like the leveling system of it all. I like the story of it all. If they're doing a total... Now, here's the thing. We saw this right here, and we saw a tech demo like this a couple years ago at E3. If Square is remaking it totally from the ground up, graphics, voiceovers, character models, battle, everything. If they're going to make it and you put that into the Final Fantasy 15 engine or something, I'm all for it. But give us the Final Fantasy, the core elements that have to be there. The story has to be there. The gameplay has to be there. The materia system, the store, everything has to be there. So I will remember from PlayStation, I got a PlayStation about, golly, it's been well over 15 years ago. And I remember playing Final Fantasy VII for that PlayStation. And that was pretty much the first... That was almost the first role-playing game, besides, I played Sword of Vermilion on Genesis, but that's the first Final Fantasy game, and I think it was like this for a lot of people. Final Fantasy VII was the first role-playing game or first Final Fantasy game that got me into the franchise. I'm curious to see where they go with this. I'm really marking out for it, and I hope that they do well with it. I hope that it looks good. Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy X are kind of like the most popular ones. 9 and 8 were okay, but 7, I'm just so glad to see it remade. I'm curious to see what I always mispronounce character names. Sephiroth. I'm really, really curious to see what he looks like. I'm curious to see. Oh my God, I can imagine the fanboys doing this for Tifa. I remember playing 7, and the thing that bugged me about 7, but at the same time it was like, yes, this is what a game's supposed to be, was when you meet Ares for the first time, and you're like, fuck yeah, we got our healer. You know, she's gonna heal everybody, and we're gonna beef her up, and you level the fuck out of her, and then all of a sudden she dies. She dies. She gets killed off, and it's like, no, we spent so much time leveling this one fucking character because she's our healer, and we thought, and then she's gone. fucking Sephiroth kills her. Spoilers, but it's. I won't make the same mistake twice. Let's just say that. I'm looking forward to it so much. And then last night we had the Kevin Owens show starring Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. He powerbombed Machine Gun Kelly off the stage. I laughed my fucking ass off. I was like, you go, boy. Nobody likes this idiot anyway. Just get rid of him. And everybody, all his entourage, his ghetto entourage, sweep around him going, he may have spinal injuries. He may have spinal injuries. We got to get him to the hospital. Sorry, that wasn't the way to do that. You should have had him. You should have had Machine Gun Kelly do a stretcher job. Okay? Have him put the neck collar on and stretcher machine gun. Make a whole fucking segment out of this. Oh my lord, here's our special guest. This guest has performed for John Cena at WrestleMania. He did John Cena's entrance one year, the first year he fought The Rock. John Cena loves this guy to death. He's a big proponent of John Cena. And now Kevin Owens just took him and obliterated him, powerbombed him off the stage. And now he's getting stretched out of the arena. I don't know why they didn't go that far with it, but they didn't. Nevertheless, good segment, good call. Seth Rollins is fighting Brock Lesnar at Battleground. Sorry, my nose is real stuffy today. I think I'm getting sick again. But I'm glad that they're getting this match out of the way. I doubt it's going to happen, but I hope Brock wins the belt, because my match right here for SummerSlam is Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens. If I was booking it, I'd do it. I think that those... I'm sorry, you got to have Owens lose the NXT title, okay? Which... Oh, whatever, it's NXT, okay? And Byron Saxton last night, oh my god, the dude is horrible on commentary. Sitting there going, well, Dolph Ziggler wanted the NXT title. If he beats Owens here, he'd be next in line for it for sure. No. Why would you take a guy who's already on the main roster and take him back to developmental like that? No. They're not going to have a main roster guy win the NXT title. The title's going to Sami fucking Zayn or whoever, is down there competing for it. Or Finn Balor. Finn Balor's going to win it. But anyway, in Japan. However, I think Balor wins it in Japan. You have Lesnar versus Rollins at Battleground. Rollins loses it because, let's face it, Rollins has not been a strong champion for the company. I like Seth Rollins. He's a good guy. He's a damn good worker. But he just, for whatever reason, you can't really get behind him as champion, even as a heel. You just can't. He didn't have it. And he wasn't supposed... To me, everybody thought that, either Roman Reigns or Dean Ambrose was going to be the guys to rise up for the Shield. Rollins was back here. You never thought that he would be the guy. People didn't want him to be the guy. They wanted Ambrose, because Ambrose was the talker of that group. Ambrose was the leader of the Shield, pretty much. So I don't know. I just don't think he's been a strong champion. I think that they need to put the title back on Lesnar. I think they need to have Owens come in and win the belt from Lesnar. And either that, or you just have, hell. Why not create a 3-month program out of Lesnar and Owens? I'd love to see it, because Lesnar and Owens, if that happens, it's going to be amazing. I It looks good on paper, and it probably will look good in the ring because they're both going to be stiff as fuck with each other. Owens is going to be able to, manhandle Lesnar. It's going to be good. It's going to be good, I think. If they go that route. I don't know if they're going to go that route or not. I hope they do. We shall see. Let me see here. But yeah, I mean, Raw last night was okay. I honestly think that Nintendo has a lot to do here at E3. I want to see, Mario Maker. I want to see Yoshi's Woolly World. I want to see some updates for the Amiibo program. I want to see a new IP from them. Um, they're not bringing Legend of Zelda to E3, but that doesn't mean they can't make mention of it on this digital event video coming up today at 12 at noon, which it's in 3 hours. I'm super excited for it. But that's pretty much it for me. I've gone on way too long with this. But Raw last night, it was okay. Ziggler versus Owens was fucking phenomenal. I love the match. Rollins at the end was good when he heard Brock Lesnar's music hit. He pretty much shat himself in the ring and pissed himself in the ring. It was good. So anyway, that's going to do it for me, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with more. I'm going to do like an E3 wrap-up thing with Nintendo. We're going to do a little bit more about wrestling. Going to do more about gaming in general. It's a fun week. It's been the last 4 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday have just been awesome for me. I want to thank everybody. Now, WWE monetized my. I kind of got in trouble with YouTube for the 10 bell salute to Dusty Rhodes. They didn't flag me for copyright, but WWE has pretty much taken ownership of the content in the video, so anything that, I didn't monetize the video in the first place, so any ads that may get played in front of that video, WWE's getting the money from them, which I don't mind in the slightest, because I don't care. I didn't do that video to make money. Oh well, if WWE wants to make money off of it, go ahead. That got a lot of views, so thank you so much, guys, for watching that. Anyway, I'm going to get off here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you thought about E3 and Raw last night. R-Truth was funny too. I like R-Truth. R-Truth, it's every week. It's just how retarded can we make him? It's great. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you down the road. Stupid Mark.